Chapter 20, Part 1. For a few hours the bungalow had been beautiful. Orange and crimson and violet flames lit up the night sky. Showers of golden sparks flew upwards as the fire danced and played on the dying house. Then it was over, and there was nothing left. Only grey ash and those strange objects which survived disaster. The nozzle of a flick gun, a splintered wash basin, and in what had been Mr. Carter's study, a single eye cracked by the heat, staring creepily at the heavens. So when Finn sailed back down the Negro at dawn, he saw no flames and he heard no roaring as the house was destroyed. Everything at first seemed as it had always done. The big trees by the river, the huts of the Indians, the Carter's launch riding at anchor. Then the dog, standing beside him, threw his head back and howled. "What is it?" asked Finn. But now he too smelled the choking, lingering smell of smoke. And as he sailed towards the landing stage, he saw it. The space, the nothingness where the Carter's house should have been, not even an empty shell, nothing. He had thought that the news of his father's death was the worst thing that had happened to him, but this was worse because he was to blame. If he had taken Mare as she had begged... He was shivering so much that it was difficult to steer the Arabella to the jetty and make her fast. There was no point in searching the ruins, it was so obvious that no one could survive such a blaze. There was one last hope. The huts of the Indians had been spared. Perhaps they had got Mare out. Perhaps he would find her sleeping there. He pushed open the door of the first hut and went inside. Then the second and the third. They were completely empty. Even the parrot on the perch had gone. Even the little dog. A broken rope in the run outside showed where the pig, terrified by the flames, had run back into the forest. There was no doubt now in Finn's mind. They had let Mare burn and fled in terror and in shame. What would it be like, Finn wondered, going on living and knowing that he had killed his friends? The howling monkeys had been right to laugh when he said he wasn't going back. He had turned down river again almost at once to fetch Mare, and he had made good time, travelling with the current, but he had come too late. Finn went outside again and stood on the square of raked gravel that had been the Carter's garden. His mind seemed to have stopped working. He had no idea what to do. Should he go to Manos and see if he could find out anything out from the hospital, perhaps? After a while he found himself walking back along the river path to where he had left the Arabella. As he came to the fork in the path which led back into the forest, the dog put his head down excitedly into a patch of leaf mould. Finn pushed him aside and saw a smear of blood, and then, a little way off, another, and another. He almost fell over her. She lay so still, hidden in the leaves and creepers, almost as if she had burrowed into the forest to die. But she was not dead. She lay stunned, still in her nightdress, breathing lightly with closed eyes. The blood came from a gash in her leg. He could see no burns in her skin. She must have fainted from loss of blood. Then, when he said her name, she opened her eyes. One hand went out to his sleeve. "Can we go now?" she whispered, and he answered, "Yes." Mare opened her eyes and saw a canopy of trees and sun shining through the topmost leaves. She could smell the rich, heady smell of orchids and hear a bird whose single piercing cry came clearly over the puttering sound of the engine. Then the overhanging trees disappeared. She was looking up at a pale, clear sky, and the light was suddenly so dazzling that she closed her eyes because she did not want to wake up or to stop. She wanted what was happening to go on and on and on. She was lying on a ground sheet on the bottom of the boat. They were moving steadily through the water, not fast, not slowly, the perfect speed to lull her to sleep. She was covered by a grey blanket. She pushed it off and saw that her leg was bandaged. It throbbed, but not unpleasantly. It seemed to belong to someone else. She closed her eyes and slept again. When she woke once more, it was to find that something was resting against her side, snoring gently, a dog the colour of dark sand. So then she turned her head, and she saw behind her Finn, sitting quietly at the stern with his hand on the tiller, and she knew that she was on the Arabella, and she was safe. It was the Indian side of Finn that had taken over when he found her in the wood. They managed to carry her to the landing stage, and lay her down in the Arabella, that bandaged her leg, and made her swallow one of his bark potions, and then cast off, telling her to sleep and sleep and sleep. Sometimes the European side of him protested and told him that he ought to take her to the hospital for proper treatment. But he took no notice. He knew now what was best for Mare, and he was right. For now, as she woke beside the dog, she was herself again. The fear and exhaustion had gone from her face. "I'm hungry," she said, and smiled at him. She had escaped through her high window. The gash on her leg was made by the broken glass as she scrambled through. The doors were already smouldering when she woke. "I don't remember much after that. It was the smoke, I think. I know there wasn't anyone in the huts. Why not? Said Finn fiercely. They promised they'd look after you. There was a wedding, an important one. They all went. And Minty, she went somewhere too, said Mare. She's left me. No, said Finn. What do you mean no? She wasn't there. She didn't come back from her day off. Maybe, said Finn, but she won't have left you. That isn't what happened. What about the others? They escaped. I saw the river ambulance take them away, but I hid. I couldn't bear to be with them anymore. They were all quarrelling and screaming, so I hid in the trees. I didn't notice my leg at first, but then... She shook her head. But it doesn't matter, Finn. None of it matters, because you came back.